What's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo. Today we are here to talk about the biggest frauds of 2022. The team that has every single year for the past 3 years since getting their new IGL have touched top 1 or top 2 in the world. This team had the most unlikely IGL. They are the team who has gotten carried the hardest of any other roster in the entire scene year over year. This team has more majors than you have matchmaking wins in this year. That's right, between Dupree, Magisk, and Apex's 8 major championship victories. They are the 3 players who need to be scrutinized the most because their team Vitality has somehow managed to stay relevant, to be able to pick up a trophy every once in a while. Okay, we're talking 2 trophies in 2019, 2 trophies in 2020. We had the IEM Winter win last year, even just in between Na'Vi winning everything else. They picked up this IEM Winter victory. And then in 2022, snuck by and squeaked out an ESL Pro League victory. But you know what the common thread was for all of these victories? The Zyborg, the Zygote, zywoo, the guy who through all of these victories has been the MVP of every single event. And yet you guys come at him and say, why can't you carry a little harder, kid? The guy who in 2019, his rookie year joining Vitality, got signed to a 4-year contract and became #1 in the world, beating Simple out in his prime after Simple's 2018 best career year of any player in history. And yet you still have the audacity to say, zywoo, can you carry a little harder? Where are zywoo's teammates? He is struggling a little bit when it comes to majors, but so is everyone else. There's no other person who's carrying, who's making zywoo look bad specifically at these events. He's still the best rated player at all of these events, win or lose, major or not major. We are talking about Dupree right now in career worst form for the last 3 years. Magisk in the same place, and these players with 4 and 3 majors respectively are players who have come on to bring their experience and help out from the back. You know, there's still sometimes heavy lifting when it comes to winning important big rounds and pressured moments because they got that gusto. They know what to do in those situations, but they're not keeping up. Magisk is below a 1.0 rating in the last 2 years. Dupree has tapered off to that point after having a pretty decent 2021. Apex is just not there right now. Apex needs to fix his shift key. He's playing just to be like the sacrificial lamb, the guy who goes out and gets info and dies. And that was really bad before, and it feels like he's changed that a little bit, but there's still a problem. Apex in 2017, at 2016, something like that, actually had a very decent year individually. Dupree and Apex, they've been playing since 2013, and obviously are bringing a ton in terms of the information and how the meta's developing, how to stay calm under pressure, surely. But when it comes to, you know, being 5 fingers on one hand, I mean, it really feels like 4 sometimes. It feels like 3 sometimes. Sometimes it feels like 1, man. Maybe we'll give zywoo the thumb, okay? And Spinks, okay. Spinks, man. He was the guy who was supposed to be the final jewel on the gauntlet. I didn't watch Endgame, but I think it's a jewel or a gem or something. He was supposed to be the thing that made it so that Vitality could never bomb out of playoffs and would probably win multiple events in a year, right? And so they won 1, and then Spinks, well, then he just took a siesta. He took a break. He said, we got mine, okay? Spinks was better on Ents. And even though he came into Vitality, started off really, really good, second carry here, well, for some reason, Zywoo's smiling no matter what. He's always smiling. What are you smiling about, man? What's so funny? Because I know you're not happy. Spinks starts off really hot second half of the year. Then they win Pro League Finals. So I was still the MVP. Still, though, Spinks was the second best player on the team. And then Spinks for the next 4 events. Where'd he go? What happened, man? My biggest L this year was calling Spinks a generational talent. I saw Snappy Spinks and thought, this guy is the real deal. It was like seeing Asataga Stralis the first time during their Pro League run back in 2020. Oh man, this guy's the truth. I still believe when I see somebody play that well for that long, of course they could bring it back. They still played versus all the same teams. They just had a different caller, and it feels like Spinks in his role as a lurker, it doesn't feel like he's actually getting enough instruction. When I see him lurk, sometimes I think it takes too long. Well, what are you waiting for, man? Come on. Like, it's frustrating. Yeah, Spinks got like 18 on HLTV's top 20 list. I didn't even put him on mine. Besides that, you know, zywoo is going to be in contention for #1 player this year. He's got less help than Simple does, and they are managing to pick up a trophy each year. This has to be talked about. Apex as the caller for Vitality, the most unlikely IGL of all time, and honestly, the heart and soul, the Napoleon of this team, you know? When he gets mad, everyone feels it. You can't help but love Apex when you watch him on the cameras. He delivers so many emotions. He's too unstable. And for a minute there in 2020, he's like, I'm going to take a break. He came back faster than he said he was going to take a break, and then he continued IGLing, and they had a decent 2020, and they had a decent 2021 as the only team who won a trophy outside of Navi, and they had a decent 2022 as one of the 8 teams or something that won a major trophy this year. Whatever. But man, is the calling really that good? I think it looks good sometimes, but in the times that it looks bad, it's definitely not good for that long. Folks, what is going on? Are Vitality actually low-key the biggest frauds of 2022? That's the question I have for you. One like is one struggle. These videos are just complaining. That's what we're doing here now. So, okay, you tell me. Thanks for watching.